Gene, the sheriff here in Galveston just about an hour ago updated all of us on the investigation. He confirmed that those 3 detectives from Virginia are here. They are looking at that car that belonged to Jesse Matthews' sister. Here's the really interesting and maybe odd juxtaposition of this search is that the command center is here at the Armory, which is right across the street from the county and city jail. That is where Matthew is being held until his bond hearing Thursday morning. Back now live, and here it is on the backside of the food giant, and you can see where some of the char still remains, where that tire was that was the first part of that fire, how it started. Now, while gangs starting these fires have been discussed, one source did want to stress to me that nothing has been proven yet, and the investigation continues. And I'm Chris Hurst reporting live in Washington, D.C., where for the first time we heard from Bath County Senator Cree Deeds since a state inspector general's report was released late last week detailing exactly what went wrong with him, his son Gus, and the public mental health system. Lieutenant, her body was found in Alabama. There had been reports Stanley Crotts threatened to kill Hodges and take the body to Alabama. Has that state always been on your radar? They were telling me earlier they had been waiting a long time and more to get their own medical center. Well, behind me is a very heavily damaged hospital. Cars are stacked on top of one another, and now search and rescue teams are trying to enter the hospital looking for any bodies. Now at 5, breaking news out of Charlottesville, where the police chief is expected to speak any second now about missing UVA student Hannah Graham. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Hurst. Gene Janahan has the night off. Today, we learned police officers search an apartment complex in Albemarle County after getting a tip related to Graham's disappearance. We know police executed 2 search warrants, searching her car first, and then what they found in that car allowed them to obtain probable cause to get another search warrant for an apartment at that complex. We are awaiting Charlottesville Police Chief Tim Longo. He's going to be coming out and addressing the media. Around this time last night, Alexander Billow was turning himself in, accused of exposing himself to a jogger on the Roanoke Greenway and then attacking her. He was arrested on a warrant for abduction, a crime we've learned he's tried in the past. Billow has been in and out of jail since 2007 when he was convicted for an attack at the Valley View Walmart. Assistant Commonwealth Attorney Betty Jo Anthony confirmed to me this evening what happened. May 10th, 2007. A woman finishes grocery shopping at a Walmart in Roanoke with her infant son. She goes back to her car, loads the bags and her boy into the back seat, and is about to go on with her day. But at that moment, Alexander Billow pulls into the space next to hers. Billow pulls up in the parking space next to her so that the driver's side doors are facing each other. At that point, Billow gets out of the car and tells the woman that if she doesn't want her baby to get hurt, she needs to move over to the passenger seat. Confused at what he's saying, he takes advantage of it and then tries to grope her breast. A struggle ensues as she tries to close the door, and with keys in her hand, she sets off the panic alarm, and that gets him to move away. Despite the fearful encounter, she looks and remembers Billow's license plate as he drives off. Once investigators look at surveillance video, his intent becomes clear. It shows Billow following the woman in his car as she enters the store. He then parks and waits. 45 minutes later, she comes out, and Billow is ready. Billow was convicted of attempted abduction, sentenced to 5 years, but the judge made him serve half that. Once he gets out in 2009, he's convicted again, this time for exposing himself to 2 young girls eating ice cream at a restaurant. He served 2 more years and got another year for violating his probation. He gets out in 2012 and just days later is arrested for breaking into a dwelling. Another year in jail, then in 2013, he's convicted of sexual assault and indecent exposure in Blacksburg. 12 more months in jail, and Billow was released in 2014. Then this week, police say he attacked a woman as she was jogging on the Roanoke Greenway. During one of Billow's probation violation hearings, an evaluator who conducted a psychosexual exam testified Billow was at high risk for reoffending. None of Billow's prior convictions have forced him to register as a sex offender. We're at the Galveston County, Texas jail. It's where Jesse Matthew will be spending another night in custody. Nearby, 3 Virginia investigators have gone through his car, his tent, and other items that were seized when he was arrested on a beach nearby. This is the man who cracked the case wide open, Deputy Ross Perez. It was his police work that led to Matthew's arrest and the call to Charlottesville police.
I think they were ecstatic. I've got, like I say, several phone calls from the police chief up there, the FBI agents that were working on the case assisting them, and they were all very happy.
Texas investigators say they have not found Hannah Graham, but have more looking to do.
You do the search of the car, where it is, the surrounding area, the sand dunes, the area where he was picked up, and you go out from there. Y'all all discussed this individual's got a 1,300-mile track.
While Matthew heads back to Virginia, many in the resort community of Gilchrist are talking about him. Did they see him? Nancy Bachman owns a bait shop not far from where Matthew was found. She says he came there once, maybe twice this week.
The word that keeps coming to me is crazy, because you don't expect something from up north to impact our beaches down here.
She said he bought honey buns and cigarettes. It's not certain when Matthew will head to Virginia, but it could happen as early as Friday. In Galveston, Texas, Chris Hurst, WDBJ 7.
It's like really hard because like Steve and Grayson were the best kids like he could ever meet.
It's where friends say Grayson Hoops and Stephen Robertson love to come. Camp Altamont in Montgomery County.
It's going to feel really good knowing that they've been there and that like you could think that they're there with you.
They're all here to hike up to the falls. But first, some signed posters. Patrick Angle played a tune for his friend Stephen, remembering a teenager who was growing up.
He had a real burden for his friends to come to church, and he would always request prayer for them in the Wednesday night youth groups.
That way? So we're going that way. The last thing Grayson told me, we had history class together, and he was like, "I'll be your study buddy, and we can study together." Thank you. Steven, I remember him walking out of school that day with his guitar, like always.
At the end of the hike,
well, we're just in a beautiful place. We're outside where Stephen and Grayson love to be.
in the bottom of the falls, they honored the boys.
God, thank you for Stephen and Grayson. Thank you for their lives, for the example they set for us.
And so they descended. More time to think.
It's been really hard. Like the first week after it happened was the worst because you just walk into school and it was just so, everybody was quiet and you seen all the posters hanging up and you just cried every time you thought about it.
Amazing grace.
And at the base of the trail, a dedication of new apple trees planted in their honor.
That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither.
We're proud of you. We're proud of who you were. We're proud of who you're going to be. We're proud that you're both together taking care of each other right now.